It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution.
When we come out here, we have a fight.
Evolution does not occur in one stage. It's an evolutionary process. Like people go through different things.
The real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for.
That you are here. And to be here means that you can't be here by chance.
We have to become involved in a program of re-education to educate our people into the importance of knowing.
It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution.
Yo, what up?
Yo, what's up?
You tuned into the Peaceful Rage podcast
Featuring Matt Murphy and Dr. Wes Bellamy. Two brothers,
working in our community,
active, caring for our families.
still trying to get back,
We see what's going on with the big picture.
and we pissed off about it.
Peaceful Rage Podcast.
Peaceful Rage podcast. So welcome back, bro, man.
Thanks,
Really good
man.
to see you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
It's been a little hectic around here in the city, but I'm glad the big homie is back, man. And much love to all our listeners. That last
For real.
episode, man, I've been seeing some pretty good comments, people really talking about. It's been interesting hearing people say how they have they're learning more about you and I. And I've had a lot of friends say to me, oh, they understand why I've dated certain women before now, or like they understand more about my wife.
Oh,
Since
word.
hearing my perspective in regards to how we respect women. So
Yeah.
much love.
That's
much
what's
love.
up, man. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And like sometimes people will hit us up with subjects and topics, and I had somebody hit me up, and she gave a good argument as to like why we should talk about the subject of sex and social media.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll get into that one day. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I just like really thought about it. I said, I think that would probably be a good
Yeah.
one to get down on. So
That might be next episode.
Yeah, let's go.
But for today, we got something that's been, in the mind of a lot of people, especially with the situation going on with the NFL, situation with the homie in the NBA for the Milwaukee Bucks, Brother Sterling, in regards to his situation with the police, and then stuff that just been happening. It seems like weekly occurrences, and we want to call this episode "Comply or Die," right? And how do you interact with the police? And we're talking now, real talk, specifically brothers. And, there's a lot of people who talk about that. This is what I do when I encounter the police, so on and so forth. But I have some suggestions, I have some tips, things that I've learned, things that have worked for me. But Murph, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had a crazy negative experience with the police?
I've had a few
Word?
experiences.
You
with
care to share any of them, or
I would gladly share all of them. As we move throughout the show. But I think one of the ones that stands out most strongly in my mind is having been pulled over by the same officer in the same area multiple days in a row and being questioned the same way, like he had never seen me before.
wait, what?
Yeah,
So the same officer pulled you over in like the same neighborhood or something,
correct.
like several days in a row,
Correct.
and he acted like it's the first time every time.
Yes. Mind you, I lived in a place that didn't have a whole lot of black people there.
Yeah,
Drove a big ass yellow Cadillac,
yeah,
right?
super.
I'm
fly.
like 18 years old, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'm like, for real?
Come on, dog.
For real? Like, where you going? I'm going home. A mile and a half from here. You see my address on my ID, like you asked me the same shit yesterday. How many people that look like me have come through here on that? You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right.
I had to have that conversation. And matter of fact, it was a black cop.
Woo! Now the plot twist.
Yep.
That's similar to what Meek has been talking about in the criminal justice system. We oftentimes put it white towards black, but sometimes it's black on black as well. Like black police officers, black judges, like you see in his case, and even in this situation. Why do you think that brother, or was it a brother, male or female?
It was black, a black male officer.
Why
yeah.
do you think he was treating you like that?
You know what?
I know you don't know,
I'll be
but-
honest, like I was young. So I
Yeah.
said I was 17, 18 at this time. And they actually called him, like the name that we called him, all the people our age were teenagers,
Yeah.
right? We know this cop, right?
Yeah.
They called him Uncle Tom. Like that was his
Word.
that was like the nickname that we gave him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we knew this nigga. Like
Yeah.
nigga, you Uncle Tom nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
for real. And so yeah. And here's part of it. And I've known police,
Yeah.
personally. And I think there's a certain kind of camaraderie or connection that people feel when they feel like they go out on the battlefield every day, risking their life, and they're going to trust this person next to them. And at a certain point, you know what I mean? They may think it's not even about race or color. It's about my life and this connection. You ever watch like war movies?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the movie Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. There were parts of it when they're there in Vietnam and they're going back and forth, and the white dudes is calling the black dudes niggers.
Right.
And the niggas is calling them crackers, and they're out here and they would die for each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's crazy though. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is inside of that whole thing, it's like I'm with this person and my life is on the line alongside of them. I die for them. They die for me. What I call you doesn't matter.
Right.
We need to survive this shit.
It's all about how we survive. That's crazy.
I'm not trying to justify that bullshit. I'm just saying that's also a part of life.
Did you ever feel like you were partially at ease? Or do you feel more at ease when you see a black person as a police officer? Like if you have to interact?
That's a good question, man. When I lived in Atlanta, man, there's a lot of black police.
Right.
Right. So I don't know if I necessarily felt any better or not. Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm going to tell you this.
What?
And this probably will give me some hate mail and shit. I was riding with someone very close.
Yeah.
And he was a Freemason.
Okay.
And I remember seeing him get out of tickets, throwing up some Freemason hand signs and shit, right? I ain't lying to you, dog. I was with this man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes the black police will recognize that shit, and he would get off for speeding. And the white police, sometimes they give him a ticket. They ain't care about it. I see, bro. I've been in the whip while it went down, man.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yo, that's crazy.
You won't talk about that.
Nah, yo, I
ain't scared, bro. I ain't scared of that bullshit. Come on.
Yo, the show shut down next week.
Come on. For what? See, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm fucking with you, bro.
Okay,
I'm playing, OG. Lord of mercy. Y'all saw the bass in his voice get elevated just now?
Nah, dog.
It's real. Nah, but comply or die, man. I think it's a real situation. I remember, so I grew up in Atlanta, right? And, we've talked about this several times. And I remember being... I went to college in South Carolina, and then I spent some time like in South Carolina going to grade school in different years. And then I remember my senior year, the end of my junior year, my senior year, I actually had to go to high school there. So I wound up choosing to go to South Carolina State University because it was in the middle of Atlanta and where my family was in Atlantic Beach, in Myrtle Beach. So I remember going back home to Atlanta one weekend. And I went home. I think it was, matter of fact, it was Martin Luther King weekend. So, the students, we had an extended break. So we didn't have to go back to school till Wednesday because you got the Monday and the Tuesday
So
off.
this is in January.
This is in January.
And the weather's probably like 70 degrees.
Yeah, it was lit. Yeah, it was good. It was good
while I'm
Monday.
up in the snow.
Yeah, you was suffering.
But go ahead.
So, I remember leaving my mom's, right? I came home, and my mom actually lives off I-20. So you got to take 20 to go back to South Carolina from Atlanta. So I remember 20 East.
Yep.
So I remember going back to school, getting pulled over. So at this time, dog, I had a 1992 Nissan Sentra.
I knew you had a Nissan.
Yeah.
How I know?
Nissan Sentra, bro. Two-door joint. And I know my folks
coupe.
listening. Yeah, the coupe.
Come on.
My folks listening to this joint, I know they laughing. The windows was tinted. Dark tint too.
What color was it?
Black.
Oh, come on, dog.
Come on, dog. Rusty black. It was almost gray.
It wasn't matte black.
Nah, not on purpose at least.
Dusty black.
Yeah, dusty black. But I remember, riding on 20, going home, and this was like my first crazy encounter with the police. So I'm driving, going back to school rather, and I see a cop, right, hiding in the little middle way on the highway like they normally do. And I remember he pulled out, right? And he pulled out, turned his lights on. I'm like, damn, I wonder who he going to get. Like, they must be wilding. Like, whoever he going to get, they going to be hurt. My car didn't go over 70. It was an old joint, right? So I'm like, I know he ain't come to get me. The speed limit 70.
It couldn't go over 70.
Yeah, it couldn't go over 70. Like, my joint, like, you go over 70.
But
the
you
joint
knew
shaking.
you were speeding.
Yeah, it was shake crazy, bro. You go over 70, right? So, on 20, the speed limit is 70. So he winds up pulling me over. He pulls behind me. So I'm like, damn, what he pulling me over for? So roll down the window because I ain't no power window. Roll down the window. So I'm like, hey, what's up, officer? What's going on or whatever? And he was like, shut up. That's what he says off the rip. Shut up. So I'm like, excuse me? He said, shut up. Show me your license and your registration. That's all you need to do, and shut your mouth.
This was a state trooper?
State trooper.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So I said, come on, dog. Well, I'm like, damn. No, actually, it wasn't a state trooper. It was
like,
state trooper.
That county or something?
Yeah, Greene County. So, homie, he gets my license, and I give him my college ID too. So I said, well, officer, I'm just, heading back to school. I had books in my back seat. So I'm like, just heading back to college. He's like, you know how many drug dealers I see saying they're going back to South Carolina State University or Benedict College and they're running drugs from Atlanta to South Carolina. We'll see if you're going back to school, all right? So I'm like, wow. And dog, granted, I'm like 19.
Yeah.
So I'm shook. I'm not even gonna front. I'm shook. Right. So I'm mad. I'm more upset first. Like I'm mad. I'm still kind of like crazy West. So like, do I fight the cop? Like what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Wild out, whatever. And I remember him like, get out the car. So I'm like, what am I getting out the car for? I don't give you consent to search my vehicle. So he said, oh, you one of them smart ones, huh? Get out the car. Well, you don't have to give me consent to search your car. We're going to bring the dogs out. So I see 2 more cops pull up. Wow. And these are state troopers who wound up pulling up behind, right? Because they're at the blue and white joint. So they pull up. And then they were like, I'm sitting on the hood of my car. I mean, on the trunk of my car. And he cuffed me. So I'm in cuffs. On the
leaned up on the car.
Yeah, leaned up on the car. And I look at the second cop who came and he's like, damn, man. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I can see in his eyes, like, I'm sorry you going through this. And I'm like, man, you just gonna let him do this? Like, y'all just gonna let him handle me like this? And the cop, shut your mouth right now. You say one more thing, I'm gonna haul your black ass off to Greene County Jail. So I'm just like, yo, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? The third cop has the K9 in it. They search the car, jump all around the car. Obviously, there's nothing in it. So they take me off the cuffs, let me get back in the car. And I'm like, damn, man. And I remember saying this to him, like, Martin Luther King Day was just yesterday. And he took the ticket and threw it in my face. So I'm like, yo, seriously? And he like, you stay your black ass out of Greene County. And I just remember him pulling off, right? Like all the cops pulled off and I started crying. And I just sat there and cried for like 20 minutes. And not crying because like, I was like, I don't know what emotion I felt. It was a mixture of rage.
Right.
It was a mixture of...
There's some traumatic shit, though.
Bro, like, I'm just so mad. I'm frustrated. I can't do anything about it.
Right. I
feel violated. And I just got to sit there and just take it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I could do about it. I just got to hold the L. And I remember calling some of my friends, like when I'm sitting on the side of the road and they crying like, what's wrong? And they're like, damn, bro, like I'm sorry. And I remember calling my pastor and he's just like, yo, I'm sorry. This is your, one of your first instances as being a black male. Like you going, you got to go through it. Yo, what up? You tune into the Peaceful Rage podcast featuring me, Dr. Wes Bellamy, and my man Matt Murphy.
You had that interaction that, unfortunately, statistically, we are almost bound to have in some way or another. You know what I mean? As black men in America, we are. How many black men do you know that would say they never have had a strange encounter with police?
I don't know any.
Exactly. So statistically, we probably gonna have those kinds of encounters. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's me not even being like exaggerating. I don't know.
No,
any.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so you start thinking about that, and it's like, how do we navigate that? I'm gonna tell you like this. My uncle, rest in peace, Uncle Tony, man, put me up on a whole lot of game, man. Mm-hmm. And he would tell me, he said, when he was coming up in Chicago, they would always have a $20 bill paperclip to their driver's license. Mm-hmm. So that way, when they got pulled over, that was just, that was the move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I understood that early on, like that being a part of the game. Again, that's Chicago, and that's a whole different part of it. Yeah. But, so when I got older, again, 18, 19, coming back from the club, my homie driving, I'm in the back seat, right? My dude in the front. So I'm in the back, it's my 2 partners in the front, right? We get pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
Police pull us over. My dude is driving his girl's car. So police talk to him, pull him out the car. Well, he got warrants.
Yeah.
I ain't know.
You ain't know,
we
right.
ain't know, right? They throw him in the back of the in the back of the car.
Yeah.
In the back of the police car. Cop comes back to the car. I'm sitting in the back, my dude in the front passenger seat. He said, "Who has a driver's license?"
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one that had one.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Get in the front seat, you driving." I was like, "What?" He said, "Get in the fucking front seat." And I was like, oh. And so I get in the front seat, right?
Right.
I'm like, here, I'm supposed to drive. Look down, it's a stick. I ain't know how to drive a stick. So I'm like, oh shit. So he's already back in his car at this point. So I'm like, I stick my hand out the window and it's like waving it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He comes back to the car. He's like, what's the problem? He's like pissed off. I was like, I don't know how to drive a stick. He's he's cussing. And he's pissed off. You can't drive a fucking stick. The cop cussing. I was like, I can't drive a stick, man. He's like, get in the back seat. So I get back in the back seat. We sitting there for a few minutes. My homie come back, get in the front seat. The dude let him out the police car. Let him out the police car. He said, "Man, I'm glad you told that dude you couldn't drive no stick." I was like, "Well, I can't for real." He's like, "Word, we gotta go to the bank." I was like, "What?" He said, "We go to the bank. We gotta give him 100 each, and we going home." You know what I'm saying? And he made us follow him to the ATM, and we had to go.
You serious?
I ain't lying to you, dog.
Yo, what the fuck?
I ain't lying to you. And we went home that night.
Yo, that is crazy, bro.
For real.
White cop, black cop.
White cop.
And he got y'all for 300.
Bro, I can tell you stories, dog. I can tell you stories, man.
To living the real. Yo, that is, man.
I done paid police in Central America. You pay police in United States of America, man.
It's real.
This shit ain't no different, man.
Yeah, I remember like my, man, and it's so crazy that we have so many of these stories.
Bribery.
Bro. I remember, like I just told the first joint, the first encounter that I had, but I got one that probably not only scarred me, but scarred my friends in college with black police officers, bro. And I remember like, yo, I had coming back to school. Well, matter of fact, I was in my dorm and me and my homies, we was kicking it in the dorm, just chilling or whatever. Then we're playing cards and some other little dumb shit. I forget what we was doing, just kicking it, everybody chilling in the commons area. And I remember some dudes trying to go in my dorm, and the dorm aide, or I forget what we called them at the time. Damn, I'm getting old. I've been out of college for a minute. But whoever the person is that like check your ID and shit when you're going in the dorm.
Yeah, I don't know.
The aide. Right. She was like, yo, you don't live in this dorm or you ain't on the list or something. So they were like, man, we're just trying to go see our people or whatever. She was like, nah, you can't go. I'm calling campus security because they was beefing. So I'm like, damn, we laughing or whatever. Me and my homies, we just joking. Shout out to Vic. Shout out to Five. Shout out to Cadell. And like, yo, the police come in, campus police, they come in and they like, who got a fucking problem? So like me and my homies like, yo, these dudes is bugged out. Like we still playing cards and laughing or whatever, joking, whatever.
Right.
And for some reason they came towards us and they like, let me see y'all fucking ID. And we're like, yo, we live here. Like, what's the beef? Like, we live here. Me being the little hothead that I am, I'm like, yo, he ain't talking to me. So these are two big officers. These dudes like 6'3", 300 pounds. Now,
white cops, black cops?
Okay. Two black cops.
Okay.
I'm in shape. I'm lifting or whatever. So I'm thinking I'm tough, which is stupid. So the first officer asked me, yo, let me see your ID. So I pull out my wallet, take out my ID, hand it to him. He snatches it out of my hand. And all my cards in my wallet fell out. So I'm like, damn, dog, you ain't have to snatch my shit like that. He like, shut the fuck up and sit down. So I stand up and take my wallet, take my ID back. Like he handed it to me. So I snatch it back. Like, yo, man, don't talk to me like I'm I'm a dog. So he was like, don't snatch nothing from me. So as he's trying to snatch now we in a snatching contest for the ID. And as he's trying to snatch my ID back, I'm pulling it back to me and he grabs my wrist. Now he's trying to like grab my wrist and make me go behind my back or whatever. So as he does that, the other cops comes over and bumps me. So my natural reaction is to like pull my arm away and like scoop him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where this strength came from. And scoop
the spirit of Ogun.
I guess, I don't know. And now like we on like we're wrestling seems like on the couch. Other cop comes through, Bang, bangs me.
So he just starts stealing on you.
Steal me. So my homeboys get up, like, they used to call me ATL. So my homeboys get up like, yo, what you doing? Like, yo, you can't do him like that. Cop pulls out his gun, cocks it sideways, points it at my homies. Y'all back the fuck up and sit the fuck down. So they like, yo. Now he cocks the gun, has it sideways, and pointed at my 3 friends, right? They put the cuffs on me. They pick me up by the cuffs, throw my head into the window. And then we had in our dorm like the little push doors with, like the little lever that you gotta.
Oh yeah,
the little long rectangle joint. You gotta push it to open the door. They opened the door with my head. So bang, push me through, take me to the back of the cop car, lift me up by the cuffs, throw me on the back of the car. So I'm bleeding, swole up, and I'm like, yo, y'all real tough with the. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all tough. I'm in cuffs, dog. Like yo, that's like this what y'all do. Like this how y'all handle it.
Bully shit.
Yeah. So my homies just like, we following you. Like, we ain't gonna let them just do you dirty. So they take me to the precinct, follow me or whatever. And I remember going through that whole process, having to spend the night in jail or whatever and getting out the next day. And then the cops, like, they initiated it, all of that, wound up trying to charge me. And when we went to court, like, when it was bail time or whatever, the judge was just like, this is ridiculous. And this stuff happens all the time. And he's like, you free to go on bail or whatever. And when I wound up going to court, like, they just completely threw it out. They no processed it all.
It's trash.
Yeah, they like, this is like, what is this?
Garbage.
But I'll never forget how that made me feel. And then even to this day, dog, that still shows up like on my quote unquote record. Now it's no process, so it means,
Right.
obviously nothing happened. But like felony assault on an officer is something that's still on my record for me getting beat up by the police.
Right.
And I would never forget, like, thinking, like, yo, cops, whether they white, whether they black, during that time of point in my life, it was just like, F them. You can't trust them. You can't, because they'll beat the shit out of you. They'll do whatever. It took me a long time to get over that.
Bruh, I don't know if you remember that song by KRS-One, Black Cop.
Nah.
You need to listen to that, man. I think the ear, maybe he can put that in the mix for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like the allegiance that you see sometimes black officers having to the badge or the uniform versus their race, and you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that injustice doesn't happen and they don't have to do their job and handle business. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like some of the stuff that we're talking about is like, unnecessary.
It's completely OD, bro. But like, the thing is even in all that, oftentimes when I think back to it, would the situation have been different if like I just would have, even when I got pulled over by the police officer, just not said anything, even when he's telling me to shut up and he's making me feel like less than a man, or even when the police officer came in on campus and said, just show me your ID, like just don't say nothing. Even though they talking to you like you crazy and they may put their hands on you, or like I said, the dude snatch my ID out and pull all my cars out, just take it.
Well, and I think one of the things you talked about just a few minutes ago was, and correct me if I'm wrong, this feeling of powerlessness almost.
Yo.
Because here it was that he's being an asshole. He's treating you some kind of way, obviously for no reason in this case. And then you got to go through this whole situation, get bail, go to court. They throw it out. They know it's bullshit. Like all that. And you didn't have no control in that situation.
None.
And so how many brothers on a daily basis just get gaffled up and on some bullshit?
Right.
Just on the humbug.
Oh, that happens daily, like you just said.
Right. And so again, so it's like, do you play the odds? Do you roll the dice? You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna talk to me like that? Do you play like, okay, yes, cool, all right, I'm compliant, I'm going home today? Like, and is anyone better or worse than the other? Does anyone make you less of a man, more of a man? What you think?
In my 31-year-old self right now, I feel like the time to argue is in court. Because I've seen so many instances in which it's going the other way. Like, bro, we can really die.
So you saying make it through that situation.
Make it through the situation. Do what you have to do to make it through the situation.
You on the side of the road, you pulled over by the police, make it through the situation, survive that joint.
Survive.
And fight it in court.
And we fight in court. We fight, you know what I'm saying? If it's a situation in which we have to protest or whatever, or whomever, if the situation is that egregious, we fight then, because there's nothing more important. Your pride isn't worth you not being able to not come home.
And see, as we talked, last week or 2 weeks ago about respect.
Yeah.
Pride and respect. Going kind of hand in hand in a certain kind of way, and so that can happen with the police. That can happen in the street.
Yeah.
Just know what I mean. Like it
way.
can happen all kinds of levels, and we have to make the decision as men. Like how do we make it through this situation, maintaining this understanding or identity of manhood as we proceed, but ultimately being able to make it home to our people.
The question is, like, often when you getting pulled over by the police, in my situation now, and I try to give, because obviously I live a completely different life. Like, police ain't really bothering me. Like, they not, you know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with local police. I'm cool with majority of them. They not giving me a hard time. And even around the state, like, if I'm pulled over, they see the little city council stuff in front of my car. They not giving me no hard time. They or like they pull me over and they like, oh, you're such and such. Like they ain't beefing with me. But I'm not even gonna front. I'm still a yes sir, no sir. Oh, what's going on, officer? Hey, all right. I'm not gonna emasculate myself, but I'm gonna give you respect off the rip. Well, and if you choose to take it another way, then that's on you. But I'm also cognizant that I know the proper channels that if you do take it the other way, I can call the superintendent of the state police very quick. I can call the governor if I need to. I text him. If you go the other way, but a lot of brothers don't have that kind of
right. That's a whole different ball game, right? You know what I'm saying? And especially brothers that are already riding around and maybe they got a record,
right?
Maybe you know what I'm saying, and they know when they run that plate and run their license, they gonna have some shit, So I think as you move forward, what you said is very helpful. Get through the situation. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you like this.
Yeah.
And the police pull you over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard that when they pull you over, you get your driver's license out?
Yeah.
And you put both your hands out the side of the car with your driver's license out, and you're showing your hands. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like some people could feel some kind of way behind that, but also from a safety dynamic, here you have a person with a gun and the authority to use it that you don't know,
right,
walking up to you with all the advantages behind your car at an angle over you, looking in a certain direction, put other reinforcement on the way. How do you with wisdom go home? Whether that's your conversation is tight,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ain't riding dirty, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, do you want to go home or you want to argue with this man with the potential of all the shit that we've seen in the past X amount of years of police doing all the foul things that they've done? Yo, what's up? You're listening to the Peaceful Rage podcast featuring me, Matt Murphy, and Dr. Wes Bellamy.
And I think it also goes to note that like not all police are bad or assholes or just straight out like bad people. Like we know that, right? But I'm not chancing it. I'm not. And some people can say whatever they want, but me personally, I'm going to give them the yes, sir, no, sir. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. I'm not going to emasculate myself, right? And so how you emasculate yourself as a man is different.
So define that. How would you? Yeah.
So for me, I'm not going to like, yes, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, boss.
Yeah, yes, boss. I'm not doing that.
Shit like that.
Right. I'm not doing that. I'm not tap dancing for you. Like any of that, but I will let you know, like when you come to the car, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, I'm gonna have my hands on the steering wheel. I'm gonna have my window down. Hey officer, what's going on? Again, I'm gonna give you the yes sir, no sir, but I do that with everybody anyway. And I'm gonna give up a vibe in which I'm being respectful to you, be respectful to me, and let's not make this go left. So if they're simply asking me, I'm not arguing also with a police officer. Like they tell me, yo, you were going 80 and a 70, or you were going 78 and a 70, I'm going to say, okay. Like, and my fault. I didn't know. I apologize.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And okay, I accept responsibility for that. You right.
I've got out some things.
And I've got out a lot of
conversations.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
If you just really, oftentimes, if you just like, you know what, you got me, I apologize. I accept responsibility. They can respect that more times than not.
Yeah.
It's when you want to argue and like, I know I wasn't going 81. Like, nah, man, your thing is off. Now they like, so now they do want to exude that power.
Let me tell you a story real quick.
Please, brother.
So years ago, my ex-wife was pregnant with my daughter, right? So this has been a minute ago, and we were riding back from Virginia to Ohio, and she had a Virginia driver's license, and it had expired. So we had went to Virginia for her to get her renewed license, but she didn't pass the test. Oh, so she had the expired license, right?
Oh shit!
So we're driving back to Ohio. She's like 7 months pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Sick as a dog. She had forgot her medicine when we went out of town. Oh, right. We're driving back. It's about 2 a.m, and I'm whooped. I'm like beat. I'm like trying to keep my eyes open. Say, you want me to drive? I was like, okay, just for like a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
let me
like
get
20 minutes.
Right.
I really don't want her to. You know what I'm saying? She's sick and she don't have no license. She in the car. 15 minutes later, we're going up this mountain, and we rolling probably about 80, 85 miles an hour. Whoop, whoop. Get over the top of the mountain, start coming down the hill. There's only one car out there. We went past them, and then the lights come on. I said, punch it. She said, what? I said, punch it. And so she slammed on the gas. We rolling about 100 miles an hour, right? Because he's trying to catch up with us, so we get off on the exit. I said, we got to switch. So, you know what I'm saying? We drive this because she don't have no license, though.
Right.
So we, you know, we say we driving. It's the winter time, you know. So I had these big Timberlands on. We in this little Honda, right? So she rolled her pregnant ass over to the passenger seat. I'm climbing over here trying to pull my boots up. You know what I'm saying? I get in the front seat and I'm like, boom. All right, good. We switch, and he just starting to pull up. Like as soon as I sit in the chair, he pull up on us.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I was like, oh, nah, he think I'm driving. And I'm like, damn, black man, speed. And so, like, all the things go through my mind, right? So he whips up on me, and he's like, he comes out of the car, he's like, you know, you were speeding. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get home. My wife is pregnant, you know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. You know, she don't have her medicine. All of a sudden, she jump out the car, which you know you don't do, but she gets sick, right? She's stressed. She start early. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, she's sick. She need to get home, blah, blah, blah. I was always scared to drive through West Virginia. We was in West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? I was always scared. Yeah. And the police so he's like, let me run your stuff. I come back. He's like, what do you need? He's like, you can follow me to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Is she okay? I said, I just need to get her home and get her medicine. He said, all right, cool. He said, there's another police about 7 miles up the road.
Oh,
after that, you good. You can roll. I was like, work.
He held you down.
You know what I'm saying?
He held you down.
Right. But I wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? He could have got me for whatever. You know what I mean? And here it is again. I got whatever kind of conceptions about West Virginia. Where I'm just like, damn, I'm hammed up now. You know what I mean? Right. And that wasn't the situation. So, I mean, things happen, good and bad.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, do you have any positive interactions with police, man? I've had several. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even going to front. Like, and I think we live in times right now where things become heightened, where we like, damn, F the police, this or that. But, yo, your energy that you bring sometimes can play a big role in it. But also, man, yo, even if a cop is just trying to be like an asshole to you, I would just advise brothers, when you get pulled over, it's not the time to argue. So when we think about, you know, this episode, comply or die, bro, do whatever you have to do. Sis, do whatever you have to do to get home. And we can argue and beef and protest or whatever in court if it's that serious. But you have to do whatever you must to get home because your pride is not worth you becoming a hashtag.
Well, and you think about the dynamics of power.
Yeah.
See, we started acting like we action heroes and shit. We can just walk into a situation, take over, and win it all, right?
Oh, you T'Challa.
Right. Meanwhile, you got 5 police standing around you. I've got pulled over for having an expired sticker and literally has 6 police pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? I have been riding in a car with a white person.
Yeah.
We get pulled over. The police put us in the back seat, let the white person go drive about 2, 3, 4 blocks away, and then let us out the car in the middle of the trap, just so we got to walk to wherever the hell we got to go. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, right. And so I'm just thinking about like those interactions. Who has the power? Because we don't. So how do you navigate in a powerless situation?
I think it's about understanding that you do have power. You may be powerless in that particular situation, but if we can educate ourselves on the proper channels and the systems in terms of how we do fight, I'm much more willing to fight and take my chances. Maybe not necessarily in that particular interaction, in that specific interaction, because I could possibly lose my life. And we've seen, you know, the justice system hasn't always been there for us also.
Right, because then right. In the courtroom,
Yeah.
we've gotten played before too.
Oh, several times.
But the difference, my brother, in the courtroom is they're not pulling guns on you in the courtroom.
You're not, more likely than not, you're not getting shot in the courtroom.
You be shot on the street.
Yeah.
But in the courtroom is different. So, and that's a money game. That's a different conversation.
It is. Yeah, I've beat the district attorney before. Shout out to Big Shot. I remember, I remember. I don't even know if I could tell this story. Just know, I've had to represent myself. So I can say why my little cousin, shout out to Shahada, she was ran over by a car.
Dang.
Yeah, she got ran over by a car, and the car was on her back, and homies pulled the car up off of her. You know what I'm saying? She got rushed and saved her life. So I rushed to the scene. She's already gone. The scene is being roped off or whatever, and they like only family can come inside the circle. So I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. My aunt is there. She's like, yeah, it's my nephew. Like, he good, whatever. And they're like, nah, he can't come in. So my aunt's like, yo, this is my nephew. Like, he's good. Let him come through. So I'm mad, upset.
Right.
Like, what you mean? Like, yo, how she get ran over? All this stuff. Long story short, they locked me up for interference in a police investigation.
Come on, man. It gotta be them trumped up charges.
They took me. I got out on a PR bond. It was all good. And then I remember going to court, and I was like, "Nah, I ain't paying the fee. Like, we gotta go. We gotta have a jury trial or whatever. Like, we got a bench trial." And I remember the DA presenting all this stuff, and I beat him.
Word.
And my cousin was like, "Yo, Wes B, you in the wrong thing." They call me Wes B. Wes B, you in the wrong line of work. Your black ass need to go to law school. I can't believe you beat the district attorney. And I was like, yeah, showed your ass, right?
You thought you was doing something.
Right, thought you was doing something. So, I mean, like, there is instances in which it can work out for us. Now, again, we know that those may be anomalies, but you're not going to die.
Right, there's a difference there. And let us also say, just for the spirit of like transparency, you know what I'm saying? We don't sit before you today speaking with like felonies on our record and
That's true.
Recognizing the struggle that's there for
completely
brothers
different.
that already have those things in
man.
place. Like you getting viewed, much differently and much more harshly.
You get F, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a whole different side of the game, So whether that's at the immediate them getting pulled over or them going to the courtroom, well, he's already a felon, or he's already got these charges. Like
history of doing X, Y, and Z.
It's 10 times harder, 100,000 times harder, man.
And I think that oftentimes those things are like the system is created in some regards to break our will. And it's like you can't get a job. They take your voting rights away.
Shit, man.
Yeah, like it's designed for us to make certain decisions, and then when we make poor choices for whatever reason, could be because of the system that they created, then
or the lack of choices.
Then you become disenfranchised from the community and from society as a whole, and they expect you to just navigate through that shit, which is bullshit. But brothers, because I firmly believe that we are some of the strongest individuals to ever walk the planet, if we can become patient and learn to navigate these systems in a variety of different ways and make lemons out of lemonade or make lemonade out of lemons, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's just going to take you a little bit longer to get to your pot of gold, whatever that gold is, whether that's self-awareness, whether that's financial freedom, whether that's just being able to take care of yourself and your family in a variety of different ways, or even your mental health being where it needs to be. But we have to be willing to hold on and be steadfast because they want us to mess up.
Right.
And we can't.
Right, man. Hey, that's what's up, man. So that note of positivity.
That's it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Respect, you know what I mean? And we definitely want to hear from you guys, man. Like our brothers out there that are in, you know what I'm saying, the in DC, in Chicago, in Cali. I just met a filmmaker. I was over in the park the other day, you know what I'm saying? And met a filmmaker from LA that was here, you know what I'm saying? In Charlottesville doing some stuff about August 12th and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to hear from you guys out there about your interactions with police. And like, what does compliance look like? What does navigating that situation in your context look like? Because Charlottesville is relatively a small town.
Yeah, definitely.
You're not having the crazy levels of corruption that you see in other places necessarily. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, How are you guys doing it, man? Let us know, man. We would definitely want to have this
Shout out to
conversation.
Chief Brackney, our new first ever African American female police chief.
Okay,
she starts on June 18th. Shout out to sis. Chief Brackney. Like, it's definitely a change, and she is phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to seeing the culture of our community change as well and improve, not only with her, but with our community as a whole, saying that we're going to do whatever we have to do to not only help our brothers and sisters who are in trouble, but make sure that we take responsibility for ourselves and truly be that village that we're looking for.
That's what's up, man.
My bad, I had to plug that.
You good, bro. Peaceful Rage Podcast, man.
Peaceful Rage Podcast. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Peaceful Rage Podcast, all one word. Murph Dog, appreciate you, OG. Shout out to the ear. What up, though? So, as always, man, we want to thank the listeners. Appreciate y'all rocking with us.
Absolutely, man.
Shout out to our sponsors.
Life View Marketing, Ty Cooper.
Shout out to our producer, The Ear.
The Ear.
Yo, what up, man? At Damani for prayers, hit him up. And also, if you want to be able to sponsor with us or, you want to come through on the show, look out for us. Hit us up on Gmail at peacefulragepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on social media at Peaceful Rage Podcast on all social media websites. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.